I talked about vulnerability before, and I think it's maybe time you hear a little from me. So, I grew up in a very abusive home when I was young. Lots of trauma came. I am the daughter of a convicted serial rapist. And it took me a long time to be able to say that, let alone heal that. There were so many layers to the traumas from childhood and so much to understand. And that's the interesting thing about what drags us into addictions to begin with. And what seems like a good idea, because I think about when I was in my teens and, hey, you're just experimenting with drinking and it's just a fun thing to do. I would drink to blackout drunk. I did a lot of things that were not safe for myself and produced not safe outcomes. I produced more trauma and then created new coping mechanisms. See, the interesting thing about addictions is often there's something we're running from. Actually, it's not often, it's always. What starts off as I take this medication because I hurt my knee and I need some meds, or I take this drink because it's fun and I'm being social, quickly changes because it's a moment when we get to feel just a little bit better than what our life was showing us, or just a little bit better than what I was feeling yesterday. But the problem is you're always chasing that feeling and it never gets better and it creates new problems. But you guys all know that. I've experienced it time and time and time again throughout my life. Not the addiction side so much. Well, yeah, the addictions too. But just building on the awareness and getting to know where I got stuck, because I didn't seek that help for a long time. I didn't even admit I ever experienced addictions for the longest time. I didn't even admit it. I didn't even recognize it. I just thought I was just being like everybody else. You learn. And you learn to love yourself, and you learn to accept yourself, and you learn to forgive and let go. And the healing process is an amazing process. And I can promise you this. I joke a lot of times with this analogy, but it's true. The first thing that you dig into, the first trauma, the first event, the first emotional attachment, the first whatever it is that's holding you, that one is like the gift wrapped in shit paper. It is horrible. It smells bad. It looks bad. It's over there in the corner. You don't want to go near it. It is absolutely repulsive. And it is the last thing in the world you think you want to go open. But then something magical happens. You go open it. It seems horrible, but the beauty is usually you open that with someone who can really hold space for you to do it safely. And that was a huge thing for me as a kid. I never felt safe. Sorry, Mom. It's not on you. But I carried that as an adult. And so being able to even look at some of the experiences of childhood or teen years or even adult life took having a safe place to do it and a really good, safe person to do it with. And then once I did and got through the first one, it was such a huge moment for me that after that, I ran to those. They were no longer wrapped in horribleness. They were wrapped in gold. I knew that there were amazing things inside those to discover about myself, all the little fragments that I was missing about me. They were always there. They were just buried. They were buried under emotional attachment. They were buried under what I believed and truly had experienced as something terrible. Every single one of you who has experienced trauma in your childhoods and use addiction as your outlet, as your coping mechanism, every single one of you can absolutely release the addictions and release those traumas. Because now I could literally tell you everything that happened like I'm giving instructions on making a sandwich. I promise the journey to healing, yes, it has layers, kind of like an onion. But then you get to the core and you're like, wow, this is amazing. This is gold. This is spectacular. How did I not ever see this beautiful, amazing, spectacularly powerful person? Because you were just buried under shit paper. So go out and find yourself your safe place to start unwrapping. Go out and seek out someone who can really support you in your journey. I promise you that moment when you open that first one, it's amazing. And it will light a fire in you like you've never known. And it will give you back such a huge part of yourself that you'll be grateful for every single moment moving forward. You want to talk about disempowerment to empowerment? It begins there. Never fear the power of healing. Till next time. If you like this, like and subscribe. If you want some help, contact me.